There are scientists whose only job is to study addiction. It's called neuroexcitement.
Okay.
So what excites these neurons? Salt, sugar, and fat. That's why French fries taste so good, no matter how it's made. Anything that has salt, fat, and sugar in the right proportion, it will cause addiction. Part of your workouts is to make you stronger. I'm playing more football, but I'm getting more injured. So either my nutrition is out or my recovery. I mean, we all know Cristiano Ronaldo. After every game for the last how many years, he's the only football player who goes home to recover. Ice bath, Theragun, recovery. Why do women find it a little bit more challenging to lose body fat? Because the body doesn't know when you're deciding to get pregnant. The conscious mind is, I don't want to get pregnant, I don't have kids. Fine, that's what you want. But your body, you're still having a period cycle every month. Means your body's preparing you to get pregnant. You don't get pregnant and you get a period the next month. You get pregnant, it stops. A lot of women who lose weight too quickly or become too thin, skinny thin, have infertility issues. The body will not allow you to get pregnant. Very difficult.
Very important episode, especially for people who want to learn more about health and fitness. The world's elite, the billionaires of the world, some of the world's most influential people pay Luke Coutinho for these kind of consultations, these kind of conversations, this kind of knowledge. This episode also contains a diet plan towards the end. It also contains common fat loss and muscle building mistakes. Muscle building is important for both men and women. This is a slightly more advanced fitness conversation. A while ago, when the podcast had begun, one of our most successful episodes was a 101 on fitness and health. Some ground rules that everyone should be following. This is the more advanced version of that same conversation. We link that episode down below. But for now, enjoy Luke Coutinho on The Ranveer Show. For more knowledgeable episodes like this, make sure you follow us on Spotify. Every episode's available on Spotify 48 hours before it's available anywhere else in the world. TRS is a Spotify exclusive. TRS brings you one of its OG all-stars, Luke Coutinho. He's back on The Ranveer Show. Luke Coutinho, welcome to The Ranveer Show again. The all-star is back.
It's good to be back with you, man. Really good to be back, brother. It's been ages, yeah.
This is the first episode we're doing today. The second one's going to be much more of a free flow. For the first one, I thought we're going to create sort of a sequel to our first ever episode that we recorded on this podcast, which was sort of a health 101. It's also our third most watched episode ever. So there's a huge demand for a more detailed episode on the world of health. I think health is one of those things where a lot of 22-year-olds today, as well as obviously people in their 30s and their 40s, today, especially after the pandemic, are thinking a lot more about.
Yeah.
People are thinking a lot more about their bodies, taking care of it. I remember meeting you in 2017-ish. Yeah. And our challenge as health professionals back then used to be to just make people aware about how important their bodies are. Things have changed.
Right.
Where would you like to start this topic, Mr. Coutinho?
So I think we start with perception, because the biggest problem right now in anything, health relationships, is perception. You know, so if we look at pandemic, before the pandemic, the context was different. People could go out for runs, they could go out for jogs, they had access to gyms, but they didn't do it. A lot of them didn't do it. So it was about inspiring people to do it. Now in the pandemic, you didn't have access to that, but a whole new population of people actually found themselves getting fitter during the pandemic, and a whole population found themselves getting lazier as well. So the point is not during pandemic, before pandemic, or now. It's the context. The context is always changing, but the fundamentals remain the same. See, Ranveer, is simple. Like in engineering, there are fundamentals. No matter how complicated, the fundamentals never change. It's the same thing with health. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's the fundamentals.
What are those fundamentals?
The way you move your body, your exercise. It's not about how much. It's not about the trend. It's about how consistent you can be. 5 push-ups, 5 quality push-ups. A week later, maybe you'll do 10. But 100 push-ups and then you're lazy for a week and then you try to do 100 again. No, that's the first fundamental. Movement. I'm not even using the word exercise. Movement. How much can we move? And quality moves. The second thing, nutrition. Again, doesn't have to be complicated. I'm not here to say, do not eat sugar, do not have junk food. I'm saying, can 90% of your food come from nature? And the balance 10% junk. What's wrong with a bag of chips? What's wrong with an ice cream? What's wrong with a dessert? But the fundamental, consistency. If I'm consistent with the good nutrition, I can allow myself the liberty of my junk, which also keeps me happy. But if I'm consistent with the bad stuff, we have a problem.
When you say comes from nature, what do you mean?
Everything natural. Your fruits, your vegetables, your nuts, your seeds. We're not talking about the food that comes in packets that have a long ingredient list where you can't even understand half of the chemicals and preservatives. A lot of food does come in packets, like your rice may come, your flour may come, your veggies may come packed. I'm not talking about that packet food. I'm talking about the processed, the ultra processed food, which has now become the curse in society, literally.
What do big organizations actually put into processed food, generally speaking? Palm oil, that's like one of the commonalities. Preservatives. What else? When people eat 2-minute noodles and things like that, what are they actually putting inside their bodies?
So there are many kinds of oils, not one oil. There are many kinds of oils. There are many kinds of sugar. Like you'll see white sugar, then you'll also see high corn fructose. You will also see invert sugar, which are all different kinds of sugars with fancy names. So it's okay if you have a product that has one sugar, one oil, but the point is there are many of these. And then different preservatives, because I'm only going to be profitable in the food industry if I can keep my food on the shelf for a long period of time. That's why organic is expensive, because it's got a low shelf life. But if I can keep a product for 1 year, my entire cost model becomes more profitable. So the more preservatives that can come in my food, which may be good for the product, but it's not good for me. So that's what they keep adding. And taste. Why do we get addicted to 2-minute noodles? Why do we get addicted to junk? Because they've studied it. There are scientists whose only job is to study addiction. It's called neuroexcitement. So what excites these neurons? Salt, sugar, and fat. That's why French fries taste so good, no matter how it's made. Anything that has salt, fat, and sugar in the right proportion, it will cause addiction. You will remember it. Your brain will remember it.
What's the biology behind that?
Very simple. Everything excites. Like a good piece of news, to excite you, it has to fire certain neurons. So let's say someone gives you a compliment right now and you feel really good. You've created a new neural pattern. Now, that neural pattern gets stronger the second time you get a compliment and the third time. So now you love appreciation. It keeps you going. It inspires you. It's the same thing with food. So once food creates that and I feed it more, it gets stronger and stronger. Now, to break a neural pattern, that's what makes addiction so difficult. Because it's not really a behavior. The behavior is involved, but it's the neural pattern. Like if I ask you to change your belief system about meditation right now, no matter who I am, I can't, because it's a belief system. But over time, as I weaken your neural thought process and your belief system, maybe then I can change it.
So I have a dark analogy. This is how terrorists are created. Over time, you train kids to think in a certain
Absolutely.
way.
You teach them the meaning of peace and suffering. You show them that, all of your brothers and sisters got killed because of this. You auto-suggest to them at a young age. They grow up and we wonder, how can someone do this? How can someone think of this? But their thinking was created. And that's a great, great analogy that you brought up. So we do the same with our belief systems. There are so many people who look amazing, but you won't believe it, Ranveer. They feel they're ugly because they've fed themselves with the thought that they're not good enough. Or maybe their parents are, you always fat as a child, and it doesn't get out of them. But now they got to change their belief system. So it's the same thing with food. That's how addiction works.
Wow. Okay. A lot of people watching this, it's just a general, very Indian problem, though we're trying to make the podcast international. The general Indian problem is weight loss.
Right.
Like, I'm sure that's a bulk of the kind of inquiries you get as well. Like, help me with weight loss. And no one diet suits everyone. Yeah. But from my own perspective, on my own journey, as well as all the people I've trained, as well as what I observe now, there were two very key moments in my own, I want to call it fat loss journey.
Yeah.
One was when I decided to limit how many desserts or generally how much sugar I was having, which meant not buying any fizzy drinks and keeping them at home, not buying anything sweet and keeping it at home. If I wanted to have something sweet, I'd
Go
either
out.
have, or during the week I'd eat fruit.
Got it.
On the weekend, I would either go out or order in something sweet,
Yeah.
but not keep sweet stuff at home.
Yeah.
And the second one was when I stopped eating what we call chakna, which is your snack time.
These snacks,
your snack time options, because of what you said, starch mixed with salt, mixed with
sugar,
fat.
Yeah.
So just these two things, if you can, it's a very simple life hack, especially for Indians. Don't keep processed food in your house.
Right.
I recently came back from Delhi and I noticed, I believe at least when we were growing up, New Delhi was supposed to be India's, I hate saying that because I love New Delhi and I love the people there. but it's supposed to be one of the lesser healthy cities in India. Is that true?
It is true. And see, we shouldn't feel bad about saying this because it's data points. We're not speaking on basis of emotion.
Yeah.
So when we look at the Goki Fit report, when we look at statistics, because constantly in the field of integrative medicine, we're preventive healthcare. So we get predictors of which city is more prone to heart attacks, which city is more prone to lung cancer. So for example, data shows us Pune has the most smokers.
Wow.
Okay. New Delhi has most of the cardiovascular problems and lung problems, pollution one, and lifestyle two. So the points you're making are data-driven points, and it is true.
Yeah. Also, I mean, the hospitality industry booms in New Delhi. So, I mean, that's the other data point. But I strongly, like, when I observe a lot of my friends in New Delhi, they've kept a lot of processed food at home. They've kept a lot of sugar at home.
Right.
They're very big on dessert. They're very big on eating outside more than 3-4 times a week as well. I love, like, I'm Punjabi as well, so I understand the whole foodie culture. But sometimes I feel a lot of modern day Indians take it a little too far.
Yeah.
And then by the point they realize, it's a little late. So have you noticed this as well?
Absolutely. And, you've in a way answered, the first point that we started talking about. It's a fundamental. Like you said, those are two great hacks. They're fundamentals, actually. Now, a lot of people will omit the fundamentals and try to bring complications. I need a diet plan. Yep. I need a trainer. I don't have a problem with that, but the fundamentals are wrong.
Yeah.
No matter what diet you have, no matter who your trainer is, if you still keep processed at home and you're still eating it, how can a diet plan fix your problems? And how can a celeb trainer fix your problems? Because the fundamentals are off.
I think people wait for a diet plan to find them or a trainer to find them, but actually they're kind of too caught up in their own temptations and their own enjoyment of their diets to say that, no, I'll start it tomorrow. I'll start it today. It's that whole concept of you choose. Is it one day or is it day one? It's completely up to you. It's never up to the diet plan or the trainer.
Absolutely. You make another good point, Ranveer, about the fact that, again, what's at home, you are going to utilize. It's going to be there. So the point is, if you keep junk out of your home, fundamental. We have a lot of kids who reach out to us. Luke, I'm living in a hostel. I can't be healthy because my food is outside. I said, is everyone in your hostel unhealthy? Is everyone in your hostel with weight problems? The answer, no. So it is possible to be healthy and maintain a great lifestyle, even if you have a hostel life. The point are the choices you're making. Oh, I'm buying junk. Yeah, my cupboard's full of junk. My cupboard's full of sugar. My cupboard's full of snacks. So the point is, there is a solution for someone living in a hostel, someone going to university. It's there. It's a choice at the end of the day. But I think most people say that, it's difficult for college-going kids. It isn't. Otherwise, every single college-going kid would be unhealthy. But that's not the truth. Right? Every hostel kid would be sick and with weight problems. But that's not the truth again. So it comes down to a personal choice. And again, the fundamentals. How consistent can I be with the fundamentals?
I think from a more aesthetic and cosmetic standpoint, people need to understand how bloated you get when you have salty snacks.
Yep. And sugar too.
And sugar as well. Like it bloats you.
Absolutely.
Okay. You want to talk a little bit about bloating? People don't understand what bloating means usually, but I feel it's a very important concept in intermediate health. Once you've gotten done with your basics, try figuring out what foods specifically bloat your body, because if you're able to cut them off, your body actually becomes really aesthetic. It becomes lean. The way you look changes. The way your face looks changes. Yeah. So people should know this. You want to talk a little bit?
Absolutely. So I'll give you an example. Like models before they go on stage for swimsuit rounds or bodybuilders. Leading up to the event, they even calculate the drops of water that they consume. Why? Because too much of water can cause bloating, and dehydration can also cause bloating. At the same time, they start to cut down on carbohydrates. Why? Because when we ingest carbohydrates also store water. So you can have that puffy look and all of that stuff. This is just for the day of the competition, and then they're back. Okay, so the point is, we understand now, if I'm eating a lot of carbohydrates or sugars, simple sugars, I am going to store more water. I am going to have a puffy look. I'm going to be bloated. In India, a lot of people, they come and say, Luke, I put on weight, but they're actually just bloated. They're carrying 3 to 4 kilos of excess water in them. And then as you start to work with their food and their lifestyles, they said, hey, my stomach's flat. Wow, it's gone. You were never fat. You were bloated. So bloating is trapped gas or trapped water. Food can be a cause, like gluten. If you're intolerant, a lot of people eat gluten and they're fine. Lactose. Some people are intolerant. Some people just have weak guts. So they could have it, but now they can't because their guts are weak. That can bloat you up. If your gut is weak, maybe lentils, the normal lentils and legumes like your rajma chana that you grew up on. Now, all of a sudden, you can't eat it because it bloats you up.
Yeah, why does this happen? Like, why does your body develop intolerances towards gluten, lactose, or lentils later on in life? Like,
Yeah.
what's happening inside your body?
Okay, let me give it with an example. I will develop an intolerance to a person, okay, if I start to become weak and insecure about that person, or that person becomes like a stronger threat to me. It's the same thing with the body. If my gut starts to get weaker, I can't handle the foods that I once could have. Or because food's changing today, there's a lot of GMO and all of that stuff, pesticides in our food. Now that's a threat, but technically our body should be able to handle it. But if I'm not weak enough to handle it, now that becomes a threat in my body. So when we suddenly get an intolerance, it's because poor gut health and poor liver health. And our liver is dealing with pollution, pesticides. So if we don't maintain a clean liver, that's the seat house of allergies. So when you go to a doctor to check allergies, you get a tablet. Okay, but today you need to understand that if I want to overcome those allergies, I have to look at my liver and I also have to look at my gut. Because they both work together to prevent allergies, fight allergies. So if I have weakness in either of these organs, I am going to be prone to more and more allergies. And then there are some allergies which you're born with and it will continue. It's because you don't have the immune factors to basically neutralize that particular allergen or that dust or that pollen.
One more intermediate health angle, gut health. Let's just talk about it very quickly. Everyone knows that you need probiotics. You get it from curd, like dahi, yogurt. What else do you get it from? Good, like as in...
You get it from your pickled vegetables. You get it from your pickles. You get it. And your
Kombucha?
prebiotics. Kombucha as well. But again, all of these things are overrated. And I'll tell you something. Probiotics are not always good for you. So you're talking about a gut microflora that has trillions of strains. And we pick up a probiotic bottle and we say, 50 billion strains. Now you think you're putting 50 billion amongst trillions. You don't know how it's going to fire. You don't know how it's going to work. Sometimes probiotics will create more disruption. You're disrupting in intelligence. That is why it has to be decided the right way.
How do you decide?
It can't, again, based on your symptoms. Based today, people are like, I'm bloated. Let me take a probiotic. But you're bloated because you're dehydrated. You're sleep deprived. So why do you need a probiotic? Right? So it's always with intention. You take up that, fantastic. I can stop someone's diarrhea with a probiotic if I know that the bacterial infection has disrupted some of the bacteria. So now I'm populating it and I can solve it. But if that's not the root cause, how does a probiotic work? And we should understand it's an ecosystem. So even the air, the weather, anxiety in a room, my thought process can actually change how my gut's working. Today, there's amazing research that every antibiotic that we've taken or any illegal substance or any substance we've taken, our microbiome has already produced a strain to recognize that, like a blueprint. It is so intelligent. So if you ask me today, gut health, if you want to improve your gut health, you want to reset your gut, fasting. Because what you do is you stop putting stuff in your system, you give it a break to repopulate with its own intelligence. So fasting is the easiest reset. The second easiest reset, cut out sugar for a week. Cut out all processed food for a week. So now you're getting diversity of micronutrients from natural foods that can help you to populate your gut. So these are the simplest
Do you
things.
think there's a lot of stuff in fruits and vegetables that even science hasn't understood yet?
See, when you look at science, there is an extreme saying, don't eat fruits. It's simple carbs. You're putting on weight. Those are for people who are only focused on weight loss. But till date, every literature shows the massive potential of micronutrients in different fruits. So starting off with the berry family, the most powerful, but that doesn't make papaya any less. So these are polyphenols, flavonoids, anthocyanins, all of these work at a genetic level in your body, in prevention, in recoveries, you name it, cancers, Alzheimer's, whatever. Micronutrients, which no other food has. Now, vegetables have them, but in a different form than fruits, which is why we need balance. Gotcha. Which is why a nutraceutical can never replace a fruit. It can never replace a particular vegetable because these polyphenols and flavonoids, you can isolate them. But in a fruit, okay, it's a living organism until it's plucked off. It's working with its own intelligence to grow.
No, I completely hear you. I also want to highlight packaged fruit juices. I think a lot of people kind of know the advantages of consuming fruits and vegetables, and their version of that is, I'm just going to consume this packaged fruit juice. Do you have anything to say about the juices we get in Tetra Packs?
It's a waste of money and you're going to mess up your metabolic health right up front. No matter, and I don't want to put down companies. There's no requirement to do that. But at some point in life, I call it compassion at a company level. If I was running a company, and I am today, and I have a certain amount of success, I need to start compassionately thinking about whether parts of my company are driving things that can sustain health, longevity, and the future generations. The point is, fruit juice is absolutely useless. There's enough of science. Number one, when you juice the fruit, you've broken down most of the nutrients, the fiber. So you're having a glass of sugar, literally. Even if it's sugar-free juice, it's a glass of sugar. It's a simple. If I give a diabetic a bowl of papaya, they are going to spike their levels, even if they eat it, because it's a simple carb. It is. That's why you cut down fruits with a diabetic. You don't have to stop it, but you cut it down. Now, a fruit juice is just more fruit broken down, the fiber. In the heated process of breaking it into a juice, you're denaturing the vitamins. So literally, you're just getting something sweet that's going to make you hungry faster. Now, I would use a fruit juice freshly made for certain patients who are end stage. They, colorectal cancer, the guts removed. You need some amount of energy going into them. So there is a place for it. But the youth is absolute waste of money and waste of good metabolic health.
So my question was only about the Tetra packs, that people consume and we've been consuming for decades now.
Yeah.
But you're also talking about fresh fruit juices.
Even if you make it, you're denaturing it in your own making process. Maybe you don't have the preservatives in it, right?
Okay.
But you got to eat it. There's a certain science. When I chew a fruit, it's mixing with my saliva. I'm starting to absorb, certain micronutrients, but it mixes and it goes down. But the point is, when I make it into a juice, I'm just swallowing it and gulping it, and it's absolutely unnecessary. Like, I wouldn't even give it to kids. I would tell my daughter, I'll give you a bar of chocolate, but not a fruit juice.
Yeah.
That way.
I've been overweight in my own life and I've had that whole educative process, fortunately, pretty early on in life. The one thing I've noticed about most overweight individuals who want to lose weight is that they have some kind of wrong ideas about what the right techniques are.
Yeah.
Like, they think that this technique will make me lose weight. Like, they equate weight loss with eating fruits.
Again, it's a perception.
Yeah.
Because, fruits are healthy, so I'm making a change in my lifestyle. I'm going to eat fruits. But if you actually even eat more fruits, you can put on a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Even if you're not juicing it.
Yeah.
People have this platter of fruits in the morning in front of them. No, you're going to have a non-alcoholic fatty liver at some point if you don't stop that. Even if you're healthy, that's too much of fructose. And that's why nature's given it to you in a mono. One apple, that's your portion.
Yep.
A handful of berries, maybe a small bowl of papaya, but more fruit doesn't mean more health. Now, if I want to have 3 fruits in a day, I can space it out, but I'm not going to have it at one time.
What about raw vegetables?
Fantastic.
You can mix them up?
I can mix them up.
Okay.
I'm getting micronutrients. But again, if I have too much, it's going to be difficult for me to digest because it's raw fiber, great fiber. A lot of people will bloat up. And again, there's a time and place for everything. Someone with a suppressed immune system, someone going through a COVID and with a lot of infection in them, or a chemotherapy or a cancer, you want to stay away from raws. Your immune system's already suppressed and you could get an infection with a raw. So that's when you tell them, cook it, steam it, boil it. But otherwise, raw populates our microbiome. But again, Ranveer, everyone's different. Some people do better with cooked food and a little bit of raw. Some people I know just go on these raw food diets and they're constantly bloated. And some people can do it and it actually sorts out their gut.
Yeah, I think that's the case with me. Like, since I've turned to raw, it's just sorted a lot of my problems, including helping with my recovery and all that. So when I was in this whole raw food eating journey, the one thing I came across is that Ayurveda recommends that you have it before 4 p.m. I don't understand the exact biology of it. I don't even know if there's scientific studies to back this claim, but most Ayurvedic experts will tell you to have raw food before 4 p.m. What do you think the
It is
logic
true. I would just say before sunset, because, I'm a huge fan of the circadian rhythm. That's the laws of sunset, sunrise, nature, light. That's how our bodies work. That's how our brains work. A state of wakefulness, a state of sleep. So it's simple science. There's no challenge to it. So 4:30, I don't know the science behind 4:30, but I would say after sunset, yes, cut down or don't have raws. Because after the sun sets, our digestive fire actually decreases.
Yeah, it's like how in chemistry textbooks when you're learning chemical equations for the first time, X plus Y gives you ABC, but then there's an arrow between the X plus Y and the ABC, and that arrow has a catalyst on top, and they sometimes just write sunlight.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it, that when you consume raw food, sunlight has to be your catalyst for you to digest.
Because it's tough to break down raw food. It's plant cellulose. So plants protect themselves in the wild from being eaten, or they try to put off being eaten because of the thick plant cellulose. So an animal will eat it and kind of spit it out, or really have to chew and chew and chew a lot. Imagine the amount of digestive energy we need to break down a whole bowl of salad at 9 in the night. We think it's the healthy thing, but you don't. You are not metabolically able to digest it because your metabolism is automatically slower to prepare you for sleep. So I completely go with that science of keeping raws out or minimum towards night.
Okay. I think one theme on this particular episode is bio-individuality. And we'll talk about that. But this particular section of this podcast is the top 10 mistakes that Mr. Luke Coutinho has seen when it comes to weight loss related cases. You wanna talk about 10 common mistakes you see in India? Or actually, you have international clients, so I'm sure you see some mistakes all over the world.
Yeah. So I think, again, I'm a fan of perception. Because I believe our mind decides right then what's right, what's wrong. So number one, it's not weight loss. We say fat loss. Okay? Aim to lose fat, burn fat, not weight. Because you could be losing muscle mass, you could be losing bone density, or you could just be losing water. And you'll be like, hey, my weight's going down, but you have a bigger problem. So weight loss alarms me. Fat loss inspires me.
Would you say that the mistake is starving yourself or being...
Absolutely. People don't know the difference between starving and fasting. So if they try to starve, like they've had a big meal today and they say, I just want to eat for the next 24 hours. Now, you think you're going to lose weight with that, but you're actually becoming more and more deficient in micronutrients that your body actually needs to help you burn that excess fat and the rubbish that you ate. So starvation will slow down your metabolism. It will depress you because you're psychologically depriving. Your survival system depends on energy. You're cutting it out. So that there's going to be a big problem with that. So that's another mistake, starvation.
Okay.
Number three, how people are doing fasting today. Completely wrong. Okay, fasting also follows a circadian rhythm.
You're talking about intermittent fasting.
Intermittent fasting, whatever it is. So you start off, try to maintain your timings.
Okay.
Don't just start off at 8 today and tomorrow it's the weekend, so you'll start at 2 in the morning and then keep changing it because you're actually confusing the biorhythms of your body. The next part is cardio. People.
One second. What is biorhythm?
Sorry?
What is biorhythm? What do you mean by biorhythm?
Your biorhythm. So right now, put your hand on your chest. Your heartbeat is a rhythm. Put your hand on your pulse. Rhythm. When you meditate, Ranveer, it's a rhythm. Everything is rhythms. The vibration in the room is a rhythm. Everything's a rhythm. Now, I can disrupt the rhythm by getting angry. My heart rate will change. By saying something disrespectful, everyone in this room will change. These are biorhythms. Nature can change my biorhythm. The wind can. Temperature, rain, thunder, lightning. We're all biorhythms. That's why we vibrate. They say vibrational frequencies because we're rhythms. Otherwise, you can't. Okay. You can't vibrate.
Can I cut back a little bit in this conversation? I count the first mistake primarily as starving yourself, like
starvation.
Equating. The second mistake I would probably say is not maintaining your rhythms.
Yes.
And that could also be of like what time you sleep and wake up, etc.
And that's my next point. Sleep deprivation.
Okay.
If you are sleep deprived and you are struggling to lose weight, it will be a struggle. No matter how clean your diet is and no matter how much you work out. Because we lose fat while we sleep.
And lots of modern day professionals complain that they don't get time. But the truth is that time is being taken away by empty scrolling on social media.
Absolutely. I'm yet to find one person, and I take it up as a challenge. When they say I don't have time, I say, okay, sit with me and I can challenge you. I'll give you a free program, okay, if you really don't have time. And I always win.
And you work with billionaires as well.
Yeah. And we find time for them. They find time. It's not like we do. But simple. Where's this time? Oh yeah, this is a waste. Remove it. I have 1 hour.
Yeah.
You know, so we all have time. It's about how we're using it and how we prioritize.
It's that whole concept of the people who say that they don't have time to meditate actually need it the most.
They need it the most. And the people who are like, I wish I had 26 hours in a day. No, absolutely not. Because you're already sending messages to the universe of lack. You know?
I wish I had.
Yeah, no, you have it. Make do. Everyone has it. The most successful people have 24 hours and we have 24 hours. What's the difference? It's not like they have more time. They're utilizing their time more effectively.
Okay, number 4.
So number 4, we spoke about sleep. Cardio.
Number 4 is cardio.
Yeah, people are just doing cardio.
Yeah.
But the truth and the science to fat loss is muscle. Now, when I say this, people say, but Luke, I don't want to lift weights. I'm not talking about big buff muscle. I'm talking about lean muscle that you can get with squats at home, lunges, push-ups, playing tennis, playing cricket, you develop muscle. That muscle requires protein. The more muscle you have, the higher your metabolic rate is. The higher your metabolic rate, you convert your body into a fat burning machine. And that's what we want. You know, people have put themselves into a box. So like, okay, I ate my 3 meals, I exercised, that's it. And I'm sedentary for the rest of the day. but you're not training your metabolic rate. I want to train a metabolism so that it works for me even while I'm sleeping, even while I'm on a 15-hour flight to New York. My metabolism is working for me. And that's how I make a fat burning machine.
Yeah. Again, I think a lot of people know this, but they just don't get to it because the activities seem daunting, or it seems like it'll be a lot of work.
Right.
The one thing I've learned at age 25 is choose an activity you enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I discovered football at 25 and it was life-changing.
And that's great enough exercise.
Yeah.
That's fantastic exercise. Of course, as everyone ages, you want to have a more holistic workout. So now with building muscle, I also want mobility. I also want flexibility.
Why do you want mobility and flexibility?
Because I can get stronger and more muscle, but I can also get stiffer. And I know that I'm only as young as my spine. So I have really strong people, they can't touch their toes. So you can really predict how their life's going to be when they're 45 and 50 and 55 with less flexibility.
That's your fifth
point? Mobility. Yeah. Your exercise program should be holistic in nature. Lift heavy if you want, but are you also flexible? Do as much of yoga as you want, but are you also building strength? So it's everything together that has to work. The other point is, again, with desserts and sugar, don't put yourself into extremes. It's not necessary. And I'll tell you why. My fittest and happiest people, starting from age 98, I have clients at 98, 96, 95, 70, 80, 60, 50, 40. What are the commonalities in what they do? They live in balance. They're not in extremes, which means they will have a dessert, but their other fundamentals are also right. They're not going to get consistent with eating the dessert every day. I have my 96-year-old patient. She's ex-army, Indian Army. She has 2 pegs of whiskey every day, even at the age of 96. She's healthier than most 20s I know. Most people in their 20s, because she's kept the fundamentals in place and she's happy. Today, a lot of people are trying to get fit at the cost of their happiness. They've become so obsessed. And I believe the first ingredient to fat loss, cancer, anything is a happy mind. Because when you're happy, you send a message to your body that everything's okay. So you're in homeostasis. Homeostasis is your body's intelligence to fix you, repair you, lose the extra weight. But when I'm in disharmony because, I feel so deprived, I can't do this, I can't do that, my life is around my workouts, and you're sad. You're not in homeostasis. When there's disharmony, the biorhythm is affected, no matter what you do. And that's why people are constantly punishing themselves with more exercises, which brings me to my next point, overtraining. If you overtrain, you are going to put on more weight because you're creating a hormonal imbalance.
How do you track that yourself?
Yeah.
In terms of, I think, honestly, the world of fitness and health in India today is a lot more educated than it was even 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
Way more educated than it was 7 years ago when I began, when no one knew anything. Yeah. Everyone's gone through some sort of training. Everyone's played a sport. Everyone's gone to the gym. How do you take a step back yourself? Like, what do you spot in your body? Soreness?
Okay. So number one, soreness is good. There could be a DOM effect, which is a delayed onset muscle soreness, which is good. I'm going to the gym after 5 days. I'm doing bicep curls. My biceps are going to hurt. Good. But the next time I go, it's become stronger. Now, the point is, if I'm working out, okay, and I wake up tired and fatigued, those same muscles are paining. I know I need more food. I need more recovery. I'm getting injured more often. Sprains. Today, it's like, I got a great physio. But my point is, why are you getting injured so often? Part of your workouts is to make you stronger, not to get more injured. I'm playing more football, but I'm getting more injured. So either my nutrition is out or my recovery, because my muscles can only grow stronger in a state of recovery.
Yeah. I'd also like to highlight flexibility again in injury prevention.
There you go. So the more flexible the muscle, the more I can train it. That's why your warm-ups and cool-downs for my bodybuilders, the warm-up is 30 minutes. The cool-down could be an hour. I mean, we all know Cristiano Ronaldo. After every game for the last how many years, he's the only football player who goes home to recover. Ice bath, Terragun, recovery. That's it. Because that's what allows him to be stronger the next day.
It's apparently what caused this breakup with Irina Shayk.
I don't know about that, but I think it's his level of discipline is fabulous.
Yeah, he wanted time to himself to focus on his recovery. Yeah. That's how at age 38, he's still one of the top footballers in the world.
Yeah, but see, that's a sacrifice, right? Anyone's success in today's world, you as well, there will be something that you have to sacrifice. Now, what is worth sacrificing? That is where we have to have the wisdom to decide. What is worth or who is worth sacrificing? But there can be no success without sacrifice. A lot of people out there on social media pretend, you can do it all and no sacrifice. But there can be, it's a law. It's like a law of nature. There can be no success without sacrifice. It's impossible.
We spoke about neuro-programming, I think, earlier. Where
Neuroplasticity, patterns. Neural patterns.
I feel the long-term kind of call to action here is the accounts you follow on social media, make it more around health, make it more around inspiration. That's what had helped me as well. Like just getting that much feedback from the social media I was using, you are going to end up using it. But rather follow a Luke Coutinho, rather follow some motivational page so that it kind of wires you over time.
I agree with that. And I'm never against social media. I think it's a boon, but it's also a massive curse. But the social media is not the problem. It's the person using social media. So now my point is, like today, a lot of people say, Luke, you're with Guru Dev, you're with Daji, you're with all spiritual leaders across the world. What's your part? My part is still open because there's so much to learn from everyone. Take what you need, making sense, do it. The point is the same thing with social media pages. Follow 100 nutritionists. But finally, what decisions are you making? Or are these nutritionists or doctors or influencers, you're so dependent that you even have to wake up in the morning and tweet, I feel this, should I break up with my girlfriend or boyfriend? I mean, for you to reach a point to ask social media, that shows how disconnected you are and how out of control you are with social media. So my point is, we as human beings will always have the responsibility of empowering ourselves. So like when I meet a lot of my patients follow you, they're inspired. I say, what inspires you? I always want to know the why. What inspires you? He makes it simple. He speaks from his heart and he speaks sense. Something as simple as that. You've made a connection with patients, my patients around the world. So the point is, there's always something to take away from everyone. But the moment we hand over the remote control of our emotions and logic to the platform on social media, we're puppets. So social media, again, would be another point. Stop following social media to lose fat. Ask yourself one thing. Am I disciplined? Am I consistent with the basics? Yes, now I can maybe look for some more complication. But if I'm not, how is social media going to help me? Okay, maybe you want to follow accounts that then probably motivate you and inspire you, but you don't need more nutrition advice if you're not doing the basics. You don't need more exercise advice if you're not doing the basics.
You have any last point?
I think whatever you do for fat loss, okay, I know we want to look good today, all of that stuff. And my point is, while you're also aiming towards building that body, ask yourself every day, am I also building happiness? Because I'll tell you, I have some of the thinnest people and the most amazing physiques depressed. What's the point of a great body? What's the point? Are you just eye candy, but you go home and you're miserable, you're depressed? So my point is, lose that weight, but are you also building happiness? Or have you said that when I lose weight, I'll be happy? Then you've put a condition and you are always going to be miserable.
So what's the CTA right now? Is it meditation?
I would use 2 words, 3 actually. Meditation, mindfulness, reflection. I'll give you a choice of 3 things because they're both beautiful, powerful. They're actually all the same in different ways. But some people, I can't meditate. Can you reflect? Yes. Start with reflection.
You mean writing?
Writing, thinking, reflecting. Doesn't matter.
Just sitting in one place and thinking about...
Yeah, reflect on your day. Like if we all right now reflect on everything that's happened from morning till now, I'm going to also pick up the bad things, but I'm also going to pick up the good things. Now that allows me to be grateful. Otherwise, people are like, gratitude, Luke. I say, show me your gratitude journal. I'm grateful I have a family. I'm grateful every day. I said, go deeper. You can only go deeper if you're reflecting on what's gone well for you.
Because we spoke about weight loss in so much detail. I'm sorry, fat loss in so much detail. Can we talk a little bit about what the internet calls weight gain as well?
So, right, absolutely. So weight gain, a lot of people, I know everyone talks about weight loss and stuff. So again, there are many ways to do it.
Why don't I think a lot of people on the internet kind of know the science. There's countless videos about it. But again, let's highlight 5 mistakes when it comes to weight gain. That's what people don't understand.
So eating everything. They think I should eat everything to put on weight. You put on a lot of bad fat, cholesterol, and all of that stuff. You got to eat the right foods, the right macros. So one way is, of course, building muscle. For building muscle, I'll need more of the protein macro. I'll also need to up my carbs, but then there's the quality. So people have tubs of ice cream. They will put on bad weight on the scale. But you can put on good weight by also having the right quality of carbohydrate. So portions are going to change. 2, again, understand your body type. Okay, if you have a history of thin people in your family, you probably wouldn't become the big bulked up guy. But you can add more muscle, aesthetics again. So I may appear thin, but by adding on more muscle, I appear to be bigger. Posture, very important. So most people have a bent back. If I improve my posture, I look bigger. My chest opens, everything works that way.
Would you say that posture can only be improved through self-mental checks? Like when you notice yourself slouching, you got to...
Absolutely.
That's the only way to fix posture.
Absolutely. Because we've trained our body to sit that particular way. I can do
Mm.
all the yoga in the world, but again, my body will go. But again, over time, if I'm consistent with my practice of, yoga and strengthening, I hunch because my upper back muscles are weak.
Mm.
As I strengthen them and train my body, a new neural pattern gets... So it is
Gotcha.
possible after a while. You don't even have to do self-checks. Your posture is already going to be changed.
Mm.
So another mistake with people trying to gain weight, they're doing cardio.
Mm.
You got to do more of weight training and maybe no cardio at all.
Mm.
No cardio at all while you're starting to gain weight, and be patient with the process. Most people are impatient, so they move from supplement to supplement to supplement and stuff like that.
Do you have anything
Yeah.
to say about mass gainers?
Mass gainers can be well used, but again, you got to read the label. Some mass gainers have 5 different kinds of oils loaded with sugar because they know people want to put on weight. They don't care about sugar. But what is that doing? It's creating insulin resistance in a lot of people.
Which in the long term will create problems.
You're going to have the wrong fat.
Mm.
You're going to have the wrong fat, the midriff fat, the love handles, all of that stuff. But
Mm.
muscle can make the body look different and increase your body weight.
What do you mean wrong fat?
Yeah, wrong fat. Like we don't want to have fat which is estrogen dominant. Okay,
Wow.
when my body's storing estrogen.
You're opening up a whole portal for me, Mr. Coutinho. Like, what's right fat?
Yeah, so like, when we break it down into women and men, like why do women find it a little bit more challenging to lose body fat? Because they want to look good, which is fine. But the body wants to hold on to fat because the body doesn't know when you're deciding to get pregnant. We're still talking survival and evolution.
Mm.
The conscious mind is, I don't want to get pregnant, I don't want to have kids. Fine, that's what you want. But your body, you're still having a period cycle every month, which means the fact that you're having a period cycle means your body's preparing you to get pregnant. You don't get pregnant and you get a period the next month. You get pregnant, it stops, right? The point is everyone forgets that intelligence. Secondly, a woman's body will hold more fat because a lot of vitamins needed for childbirth are fat soluble.
Mm.
So a lot of women who lose weight too quickly or become too thin, skinny thin, have infertility issues. The body will not allow you to get pregnant. Very difficult. Very difficult. So you need some amount of fat. And again, it comes to perception. Why has the world demonized fat in such a big way? Sometimes the body, when you're struggling to lose fat, the body's holding on for it for certain reasons, to maintain a particular body temperature, for more vitamin absorption, which is why I always tell you, if you're deficient in vitamin D3, you are storing more body fat.
Mm.
You are. That's how the body works. In cold countries, you tend to put on weight before winter to store more vitamin D, which you won't get when there's no sun.
Mm.
So evolution is never going to change. These things are not going to change. But these are the things people are battling with when it comes to fat. So women and men are built differently. Women can achieve anything that men achieve. I'm not talking about that, but we're built differently. That's why we have more testosterone. They have more estrogen. But today, men have more estrogen, and that's why we have breast cancer in men. We have big pot bellies that don't go even if you're exercising.
Breast cancer in men.
Yeah, we're treating patients. In India, it used to be a big thing in the US. We've seen breast cancer patients in the US, men, for the last 7 to 8 years. The last 3 years in India, we're seeing a rise in breast cancer in men. Again, man boobs. How's it growing? Estrogen. That's what grows women's breast. But it's growing in men because we have less testosterone, which we should actually have more than a woman.
How do you balance it out? Again, raw food,
Exercise.
well-rounded.
Exercise, stress, sleep, all of these. But India's found a better way. Testosterone injections, growth hormones. But still, they can't. Every second day, I have some top person. Hey, Luke, I've lost my libido. Yeah. My first question is, are you pumping yourself with GH? Are you taking testosterone? Yes.
You mean steroids?
I said, it's not really a steroid. It's different from a steroid. You have
Okay.
anabolics and you have testosterone. So if I'm weight training today or you're weight training and we take a couple of testosterone injections, you're going to be a different person in 10 days.
What do you mean different person?
Huge.
And mentally?
Mentally charged. A false sense of libido. But the
False sense of
absolutely,
libido.
You're driven, right? The moment you stop that, even if you had a great libido, you're going to feel, because it's like porn. You think, wow, when I'm watching porn, but when you actually try to do that and all, most people fail in bed, erectile dysfunction. Why? They're trying to be something that was not actually possible. So now you have a false sense of sexual energy and you fail. You can't get it up, can't keep it up. So the point is with all of this, yes, some people need it. It's their livelihood in movies and stuff. I agree. And they do it in a disciplined way. They clean them systems. But today you have average people in Andheri, Bandra, all over who can buy this. And you look around and you see all these bodies changing instantly. And what do they come to us for? Libido problems. and insecurity issues, because now all of a sudden you're giving your partner the best sex, you're pumped up on testosterone and all of that stuff. Now you finished your cycle, okay? You don't feel that vigor that you would with a shot. And psychologically you feel that, I'm not performing anymore.
But people can just buy these drugs from a chemist?
It's totally unregulated.
Wow.
There's a whole black market for it. Forget about the chemist.
But
There's a whole black market for it.
Gym trainers are part of this?
You can't really say that. Today, people get it through their own sources. You can't blame anyone for it.
Okay.
Anyone for it.
Okay.
That's how it is.
What can you blame culturally?
Perception and social media. I'll tell you, almost every body that people are showing on social media, when I see them in real life, I'm like, who are you, man? I mean, who are you?
Okay. Spicy question.
Yeah.
Feel free not to answer.
Yeah,
Feel
yeah.
free to go as deep as you wish.
Yeah.
The world of Hollywood, Bollywood, Tollywood, Nollywood, all these places. Is there rampant steroid use?
It's also in the sports world, if we're going to say that.
Wow, really?
It's also, it's everywhere. And we can't actually say that. Yes, it is. I wouldn't say rampant. It's cut down hugely. How do I know that? Because we have so much of Bollywood, so many football players, A-listers, cricket players coming to us. They want to do it the right way. So it is changing. Maybe this was the case a couple of years ago, but people are like, Luke, I don't want to do it this way. I want to do it. We have film producers calling up and saying, Luke, we're sending you these clients. They want to do it the natural way. Can we do this? How long do you think it will take? So there is a change. The bigger problem are the average Joes. Not Bollywood, Hollywood. It's the people who have excessive money who can go and buy these things. Normal people, office-going people.
But that's because they're influenced by the culture.
Absolutely.
Why did you mention sports?
Because we have sports people. In between, they want to look good. Because today, you're getting all of your contracts and you're getting all of your social media ads and your ads based on also how you look, right? So they want to maintain bodies right through. And it's an easy way, right? A lot of people today don't want to put in the hard work. That's why there are good players and great players. And then there are mediocre players and players who die out, in 1-2 years. Because it's lacking the discipline, hard work.
And it definitely affects your performance positively. As in steroids can
Absolutely.
Your reaction time, the amount of power you can generate in a shot.
That's why it's banned in sports, right? Because you can lose an entire game because of that.
You think people get away with it?
I don't know. I think it's become much more stricter. But today, at this point in my life, with what's happening in the world, I believe that ethics is at its lowest. People can get away with anything today. The largest organizations, when you look at frauds happening in companies where you would never dream it can happen, what hope is there for, everyone else? It is possible because there are weak links everywhere.
Back when we used to just create fitness videos, I knew that the audience wanted to know a lot more about Bollywood steroid use. And a lot of other fitness YouTubers are also making videos around that. When I actually got into reading about steroid usage, what I figured is there's a technique to do it.
Absolutely.
And you can do it and still in the long term remain healthy if you follow that technique.
Absolutely.
I have a couple of questions for you. One, let's just shed some light on this correct technique of using steroids. Because in some cases, it can even boost your health.
Correct.
Which is strange to say, but there's science behind this.
No, it can. I mean, let's go into the medical world. You'll use a steroid to actually help you relieve a pain. Or relax your immune system when it's autoimmune and it's attacking you and causing a potential damage. So a steroid is good and is bad. So it can definitely bring a lot of improvement. I know some people who were using it for their livelihood. I mean, because they had to build a particular body and all of a sudden their skin issues disappeared while using it. Why?
Skin issues like?
Like they had like a patch of dark skin or psoriasis or eczema or a patch on their neck. It disappeared while they were using a steroid because the steroid actually relaxed their immune system, which was actually causing the skin issue.
Gotcha.
So see, there's a right way. There are right people. There are sports nutritionists and physiologists who are trained on tapering it off. A steroid has to be tapered off. It has to be gradually, built into your system. You have to do your ECGs, your 2D echoes to check, how it's suiting you. It has to be in relation to how much of weight you're lifting. So there is a science behind it. And that's why they can come out of it the safe way.
Yeah.
And then there's a break system for them to clean out their systems and stuff like that. So that's how it is.
Again, I'm oversimplifying a very complex topic, which we actually covered in the video. We'll link that below. It was the whole steroid angle in terms of how do you do this, what's it called? Post-something therapy, post-steroid therapy.
Yeah, that's your tapering off. When you finish, how you're flushing out your system.
Yeah, so the whole flush out. So we'd made a detailed video on it. Long story short, when you put a steroid inside your body, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, you're the expert here. when you put a steroid inside your body, it's also kind of creating a bit of a load on different organs of your body, including your scalp, including your hairline, etc. You need to take medicines that will balance out those bad effects while you're on steroids or while you're coming off. So that's the kind of medical side of steroids. Then there's whole nutrition side where it basically, what it does in your digestive system is that it gives you an ability to increase your protein absorption.
Yes, it does.
So you can probably say if in a non-steroided body, in a natural body, maybe you're capable of absorbing 200 grams of protein, which is still a huge amount of protein. With steroid use, suddenly you can absorb 400 grams, which is double. So obviously your muscles are kind of getting more fuel. Third, your muscle recovery is much faster. And 4, normally when we're training people, when we're putting them through weight training, we stop our workouts at maybe 1 hour, maybe 1.5 hours sometimes. Because post that 1.5 hour mark, cortisol levels spike up in your bloodstream, which is your stress hormone. And it actually does more damage to your process of gaining muscle than, you know, the effort you put in to gain the muscle. But once you're on a steroid cycle, I believe it kind of alters your cortisol levels in such a way that you can take your workout to
2.5, 3 hours easy. Yeah.
And therefore you're putting in more load in the gym. You're fueling it with more protein and you're medically balancing your body out.
Right.
So is this like a raw kind of...
Yeah, see, it is indirectly. Okay. Like, see, if you and I are not taking steroids, which we don't, our body's producing steroids in its own way. That's how people realize you can pharmaceutically make a steroid, because it's in the body. We have receptors, right? Now, the moment I start taking external steroid, there is a burden because my kidneys have to work better. My liver, my heart, your heart rate goes up when you take steroids, which is why you need to do an ECG, you need to do a 2D echo. So I have clients, obviously because of my clientele, who do it, but they're doing it the right way. So while they're on a steroid, my job is to look after the side effects, make sure they're prepared to take it. They've gone through all their tests, help them in the flushing process so they don't lose their hair. A lot of people today, you'll see young people pumped up with blotches of, missing hair. Okay, because like you said, the hairline. But while they're on it, we're calculating the amount of biotin that we need to give them, which is needed for hair. So every medicine, so that's what we do. Integrative medicine is, you need chemo, take it. But we need to balance the side effects. While chemo's flushing out A vitamins and B vitamins and whatever, and class A proteins, we need to be putting it back in your system so that the chemo is only for your cancer and it's not destroying you in any other way. So it's the same thing with steroids. It's managing the side effects with nutrition, lifestyle, and sometimes certain medications as well have to work with steroids.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for the acting world sometimes. And this is both, I'm not just talking about India, I'm talking about the world.
Yeah.
We know that top international movie stars are definitely on some sort of cycle. I think if you gym enough, you get to know who's using it versus who's not.
Yeah.
But I don't blame them because there's so much pressure for looking good all the time.
And it's their livelihood. And think about it. And then the question comes is then how do they take it and they're still living strong? Their mindsets also are very powerful. They know that I need to do this. And see, whatever you put intention with, Ranveer, it works for you positively. I am a firm believer of the power of the mind. So I'm putting an intention. I need this body because my job is entertainment. I want to run this script and create this movie. I'm not doing it with the intention that, I want to pick up girls. I want to pick up guys. My self-worth is so low, so I need to look big. That's wrong intention. And the people getting hurt with steroids and all of this stuff are the people with low self-worth and the wrong intention.
You mean the everyday Joe who's probably just doing a corporate job but wants to go through steroid
because
use to
they
look
believe
hot.
that I need to have a body like this to attract a girl, or a girl believes I need to be skinny thin for guys to love me. I'm giving you examples, both sides. But that thought comes from a space of low self-worth. My intention is, once in my life, I want to look good. I want to feel how it is. Right intention. That's it. One life. Try it. But the point is when your intention is misplaced, that's when, again, disharmony, discomfort, disease. It comes down to intention.
What do you have to say to college kids who are thinking about going on a cycle?
See, definitely no. Absolutely not. Unless you're a college kid who's moving into now, 16, 17-year-old bodybuilding and stuff. Even then, you can't do it because for bodybuilding, you're not allowed to use these things anymore. My point is, why? If we had to do statistics, I can bet on this. We've not done the research, but tomorrow if we had to fund a research project that are the biggest, fittest bodies, okay, the ones who are in happy marriages, happy relationships, having the best sex and having the best girls, the answer will be no, but it's a perception. Every college-going kid thinks, the girl thinks I need to be this way to get love. The guy thinks I need to have this body to get love. It's true. It's absolutely false. It's a perception. It's a perception. And then when you see a really obese guy with a beautiful girl, what's the perception? Oh, he has a lot of money. No. When you actually speak, because I have clients like that. And the point is, he's got a heart that no other of the fittest guys had. I feel loved. I feel cared. Great. Doesn't matter how he looks. Evolved woman, evolved man. So these are perceptions that if you put the numbers, it's impossible. But otherwise, tell me every second body on Instagram, 6-pack abs, beautiful figure, they should be having the best looking partners in the world. They should be the happiest people. They should be like having tons of people who want to marry them. But why doesn't that happen? Because it's not about that. The psyche of a man and a woman, a girl and a boy is not based on that. That's what the movies have made us believe, songs and society. It isn't that way. Absolutely far from it. If you sit down a girl and actually ask her what she wants, you'll find a wannabe girl who will tell you everything that society wants to, that she's observed from society, or you'll find a wannabe guy who will speak from the basis of being a puppet. But if you sit down with a girl and a guy and you truly ask them what they want in a boy or a girl or a man and a woman, you'll be surprised at what you hear. Surprised. Now that has to be education that goes out to kids.
Wow. I thought this is going to be a very pacey physical health, actually I'll just say holistic health podcast. It's turned into this extremely tangential conversation. We got to talk about some hot topics. And again, my questions are always from a data perspective. The one thing we get asked about a lot nowadays is veganism. Want to talk about that? Or even if you want to just highlight vegetarianism as a concept, because we're talking so much about bio-individuality and in terms of one kind of diet lifestyle is not suited to everyone. Everyone's bodies are different.
Right.
Like say an Inuit person, an Eskimo, can't switch to vegetarian food.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because like they've eaten meat all their life and their ancestors have eaten meat.
It's in their DNA. It's in their blueprint.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
So I want to ask you about vegetarianism in India, but also let's highlight veganism as well.
Okay. So see, everything has its fair points, but finally, okay, for debate purposes, everyone likes to talk, everyone likes to form extreme groups, veganism, carnivores, all of that. But we got to go a step further. Okay, there are pros and cons, but the point is, what suits you at the end of the day? Are you doing it because it's a fad, a trend, or you suddenly have a religious belief, which I respect if that's your religious belief, because I'll tell you, I have a lot of people today who are like, I'm strict vegetarian, don't give me I'm okay with a fish oil capsule. I say, why? Why are you okay? Because I can give you a vegetarian omega as well. Why are you okay with that if you say your religious beliefs are, you can't eat eggs, you can't eat this? How come your religion allows you to eat fish? No, that I'll do for my health. So my point is there's distortion in people's perception again. There's nothing wrong with being a vegetarian if it works for you. There's nothing wrong. Again, it's intention.
But when you say if it works for you, what's the breakdown of that? Like what's the version of it not working for you?
Simple. Okay, I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm vegetarian, Luke, and because I'm vegetarian, I have more carbs, but I want to lose fat. The point is your intention of being vegetarian, your intention of being vegan, your intention of all of these things. There we have people who like, oh, how could you post about honey? It's the bee's food. It's this food. It's that food. And my point is, again, all of this comes from different areas of, people's own perceptions towards it. So my point is, I have loads of vegans today who have switched back to eating meat. The same ones who preached it. And we're not here to say that I told you so. It didn't work for you. You have the guts to move back. You're not trying to hold a facade that you created or whatever it is. I have so many spiritual leaders who, out of goodwill, say, Luke, we used to be non-vegetarian. We changed and it's working for us. I was with Sister Shivani in Delhi and she said, Luke, I used to be hardcore non-veg. I changed. She's saying, Luke, try it. Try it for 15 days. And this is what I love about her. She said, if it works for you and it changes, at least you'll know. If it doesn't, go back to eating non-veg. That's how it is.
Because you've also studied the whole spiritual side of the body, I'd love to ask you, as a health professional who's backed by science, what's your perception of vegetarianism and spirituality? And especially after interacting with people like Sister Shivani, Daji, people like this.
Right.
Firstly, I'm assuming all of them are vegetarian.
Yes. They're all vegetarians, but again, move into Islam. Spiritual leaders, prophets who have non-vegetarian. Are they different in spiritual energy? The answer is no. Move into Catholics, move into Jews who have predominantly meat diets. Are they any less spiritual than other orders? Absolutely no. Again, it's a perception. I can make anyone believe if I go with the concept, oh, I'm eating a dead animal, I have dead energy. Energy is energy. I'm breathing the air that someone else has breathed too. It's not fresh air.
Mm.
The point is, it's perception. So I'm not saying those people are wrong. It's their belief. And if it's their belief and it drives them spiritually to be better people and to be better human beings, and this is where I talk about spirituality. If your spiritual path is driving you to be a better human, follow that path. Whether it's veg, non-veg, doesn't matter. But if you're just following spirituality and you cannot enforce it into being a better human, it is a fad. Your spirituality is a fad. So the point is, I mean, if it works for you, if you feel like I've tried meditating when I'm vegetarian, okay, no difference. I can meditate the same way when I'm non-vegetarian because I don't base my meditation on my food. When I fast, I can meditate better. So actually, no food in my stomach, forget whether it's veg or non-veg, can make my spiritual practice or my meditation way deeper. And that's why in the holy month of Ramadan, you're fasting. In the Vedas, you fast on certain days, on spiritual days, on religious days. Why? Because you can meditate better. So for me, it's not about what you have in your system. There should be nothing in your system. On the days that you want to reach that spiritual level of meditation, which doesn't have to be every day unless our path is to be enlightened and to move in that direction. So if I select one day in a week, I fast 18 to 24 hours once a week. Those are the days my meditation is the deepest and the longest. On other days, it will because there's energy breaking down in my system. So I think people have to pull themselves out of boxes that they've put themselves in.
Coming back to the physical side of just vegetarianism in India.
Yeah.
When you get vegetarian patients, what are the other common problems you see other than them over-consuming carbohydrates?
See, it's again a behavioral thing. I have super fit vegetarians as well. I have cancer patients who recover on vegetarian diets.
What's your gauge of super fit?
So when I say super fit, they're happy. Okay, their metrics are fine, blood parameters, and if they have a disease, they're progressing. Their body's responding. That's how it is.
Healing.
The healing, the recovery's happening. The body is healing them. Now, what is not super fit is someone who appears to be fit, but he's on a laundry or she's on a laundry list of medicine.
Okay.
That's your crutch. You're not fit.
When you say medicine, what do you mean?
Like whatever. I'm on a blood pressure medication. I'm fit. Hey, but you're on a statin. You're not fit. You're dependent on something to give you the appearance of being fit, but your body is still sick. So like when someone comes with cancer, Luke, I got cancer, I got sick. No, you were already sick and you got cancer. You're already sick when you get diabetes. You're already sick when you get Alzheimer's. That's how your body is already in imbalance when you start gaining weight that you shouldn't be gaining. When you start losing weight that you shouldn't be. You're already sick. So sickness isn't, I got this symptom, I'm sick today. No.
Do you want to talk about sugar lobby? The sugar lobby? Do
You can if you want. Yeah, we can if you want to. Yeah.
I'd like to ask you about the sugar lobby, Luke.
See, there's a lobby not just for sugar. There's a fast food lobby. There's a pharmaceutical lobby. There's a lobby everywhere.
Why don't you explain what a lobby is?
Yeah, so a lobby is when I can break rules or I can make new rules to sell something that may not be good for people.
Like create media narratives.
Yeah, absolutely. Or I can change. Like I can change I can change blood parameters. Everyone knows that high blood pressure was okay at even 145. Today, it's a disease, 120. You've reduced it. So you've put a whole population onto medication. There could be right reasons for the person being on medication because there could be other, issues. But you keep changing levels. Okay, who's changing these levels? Who's scrutinizing these levels? Why is there no research done on the good things? Only on the bad things? Today, research can be bought. I can fund research to make my product successful, even if it's not. They will find 10 good things, but they will find 2 bad things. But the 10 good things will be sold in such a way that the 2 bad things are negligible. But when I come to sue that company, they say, oh yeah, these were there. You just didn't ask for it. Or it's just not there, but it is there in the fine print.
What does the average everyday consumer do in a world like this where so many of our perceptions are created because of a few rich people sitting in a room together and deciding that, okay, this will be a marketing strategy, but on a very sciencey level?
Yeah. That's why social media comes in. Today, if you notice, everything we post, is there a link? Okay. So I said, if there is a link or if there was no link for this, I put up a post the other day on aerated. On something on aerated drinks. There was a beautiful science that I think Yale had written. I think so. We put it up. Okay. And we put it up. And someone said, can I have a link for the research? So I said, so without the link, you will continue consuming this? I said, no, I know it's bad, but I need the link. So you see, people are conditioned not to use common sense anymore. In the name of research and science, the world has made people lose touch with their intuition. Of course, we need research. Of course, we need science, but not for things that common sense can tell you. Like a common oncologist telling a cancer patient, eat what you want, eat sugar. And I asked the oncologist, Oh, do you allow sugar at your home with your kid? No, we cut it down. How can you give your sick patient sugar? What's the difference? Oh, but there's no science behind it. So you see, common sense. You don't allow your kids to eat the stuff that you're giving your cancer patients to eat. That is common sense. Don't use science to justify your decision. So you see, all of this science, while we need science, we have the right to ask for science. Don't let it dim your inner voice, your wisdom, your logic, your intuition. And that's why you can see what social media is creating today. A population that needs to be dependent on social media's answers and opinions. You see it happening right there. People are not using their logic.
Speaking about social media, again, I'm asking you all the hot questions around health. There's a huge, I want to call it like an acne pandemic amongst the youth and even adults. Adult acne has become so much more prevalent. I'm sure you see this as well.
Right. Yeah.
Is that down to the lifestyle that the society around us has created? Is it the foods that we're putting into our body? Everyone knows the basics, that you drink water, avoid smoking, try avoiding alcohol, avoid acidic foods. I have a couple of questions for you. One, what more than this? And two, we have to talk about isotretinoin or Accutane, because that's a topic not spoken about enough on the Indian internet. So I'd love your opinion on both these things. Also, I know a lot of people who are on Accutane forever. Like they just choose to stay on Accutane forever, because if they don't have Accutane, they start breaking out with adult acne. Almost everybody I know has been on Accutane at some point. Almost everyone I know. At some point at least.
Right.
And I'm talking about people in their early 30s, etc. They're not teenagers. What's up, Mr. Coutinho?
So you can take it for a while, but if you continue, you're missing the root cause of why are you getting acne. So you're not fixing a potential problem that could become way bigger than your acne.
Can you talk a little bit about isotretinoin to give people a context on what it is?
Yeah. So technically what it does is it works on a hormonal imbalance. Okay. It corrects it. It's like an oral contraceptive. You're not getting your period cycle. You have an issue with your periods and stuff. Yeah. Take this oral contraceptive. At least you'll be fine for a while. But we all know today the overuse of oral contraceptives are leading to far more deadly diseases and stuff like that. But it doesn't mean the oral contraceptive is bad. It is good for you while you figure out that I have PCOS or I have a messed up period cycle because of these lifestyle changes and I need to do it. Because the question that if you ask your doctor, can I be on an oral contraceptive all my life? He'll say no. So the point is, when does it stop? It's the same thing with all of these chemicals that we put in. They can help. Tomorrow, if I had acne, for example, I had acne in college, but we just didn't have these things. We didn't have information in that. So we got through it. We learned how to live. We learned to change our lifestyle. It went away. We learned not to base our self-worth on it. You were accepted because a lot of people had it. The point is, your body, after a while, gets immune to all of these things. It gets immune to everything. And what's going to happen is, you're going to start having more acne, or the moment you stop it, your acne is going to come up. It's like you've just put a brake on it. The moment you get the pressure of the brake, the car rolls.
There's also a lot of urban legends about how Accutane is a very dark kind of medicine. Is that also true?
I mean, I've not gone too much into research in that whole thing, but the point is, it's a $1 billion industry only because it makes us look better. Now, the point is, what's the underlying cause of acne? Too many toxins in the body or hormonal imbalance? Every disease is created by a hormonal imbalance, including a cancer, including an acne. What is a hormone? It's a chemical messenger. So you're either passing the right messages, one hormone to another, or the wrong message. Wrong message, I can have acne, I can have a cancer. I can have hair fall, I can have eczema, depending on the messages. So hormonal imbalance, because stress has gone up so much, chronic stress.
That's the real reason.
And sleep deprivation. These are the two main things. And I'll break it down.
Sure.
I'm sleep deprived, so I wake up with a hormonal imbalance. Now I'm stressed out because obviously you can't be happy and productive if you're sleep deprived. Plus my hormones are a mess, so I start craving more sugars. Now I'm eating more sugars, more toxins. I'm producing acne. I'm missing my workouts because I'm too tired. I'm in a vicious cycle of hormonal imbalance. Now, how does hormonal imbalance work? This is going to answer two of your questions: fat loss, fat gain, and acne. Every time the body is chronically stressed, I'm producing cortisol. Cortisol is a great hormone. It's a stress hormone. But if it's elevated all the time, I start depleting it. Now, the body has to make more cortisol. It has to. So it starts to steal a hormone called progesterone. Now, because it's stealing progesterone to make cortisol, my progesterone levels go down. If progesterone goes down, what happens? Estrogen goes up. If estrogen goes up in a man or woman, what happens? Acne, cysts, fibroids, ER positive, breast cancers, endometrial issues, hair fall, belly fat, midriff fat, fat in unwanted places. Testosterone goes down in a man, so the pot belly comes up, muscle mass decreases. All on this simple science of hormonal imbalance, which is being created. Now I'll have acne. I could be eating clean food, but I still have acne. Why? Because I'm not correcting my hormonal imbalance.
Which is just your sleep cycle and your stress
Sleep cycle and stress levels. Now people will say, but this is the real world. Yes, it is. But there are millions of people who are able to do it right. What's stopping you? Everyone's excuse is, but everyone's doing it. No, everyone isn't. Everyone is not sleep deprived and everyone is not chronically stressed. You may have stress, but you're choosing what is worth it and how to combat it.
Does this also boil down to empty scrolling, like being on your phone late at night?
Absolutely. That is the new smoking, like they rightly say.
Yeah.
It is, because now this is dopamine. You're burning out dopamine, one post to another. And the fast I'm scrolling is because I'll stop when I see something interesting, right? But until I find something interesting, I'm burning out dopamine.
Your reels are causing your pimples.
You can say that directly or indirectly. Again, it's your perception, and that's why while I call reels entertainment. You can put good knowledge capsules in it. Fantastic. But it's mainly entertainment. Why? Because if you ask someone today, okay, I saw 10 reels, not one of them will remember the context of any of those reels. It's only dopamine. That's why people like them more. I got entertained in 30 seconds. I want to see more of this. Why? Because you're depleted in dopamine. So that's the whole thing. Like if I want to put hardcore content, I can never do it in a reel because the time doesn't justify the value of content I want to put. Now, if I want to show a nice place I'm in, and there are many things that you can put beautifully into a reel, but not solid educative thing that will help someone evolve. It's just entertainment and dopamine burning.
Wow. Okay, we're almost at the end of this particular episode. One last question for you, and this is the highlight of this particular episode. We spoke about bio-individuality, which means that everyone kind of requires different foods. Correct. And different, maybe nuanced lifestyle factors that suit their bodies the best, whether their goals are weight loss or weight gain. But if I had to kind of bracket out a Luke Coutinho diet in terms of just some things that should be going into every single human body, irrespective of race, sex, creed, etc., just all the variables in humanity. What are those common kind of food items or habits? And I'd love for you to give me this in a diet form so that people understand very easily. Like right from the time you wake up to the time you sleep, what are some general essentials? And you could even say, okay, protein portion or carb portion.
Okay. So I'm not going to use the word diet because I call it an ecosystem of food.
Sure.
Because if I'm fasting, I'm starting my day at 12 o'clock. I miss my breakfast. The point is, in a day, the way we want to look at it is, what does the human body need to survive and thrive? Whether I'm having breakfast or not, whether I'm having dinner or not. As long as I give my body these micronutrients, it's happy, it's going to protect us, its intelligence is going to be trained well to protect us and keep us surviving. So I need colors. Colors. Where will I get colors? Fruits and vegetables. Again, quality and quantity is everything. Bio-individual. I can't give you a portion size.
Do fruit and vegetable peels contain a lot of...
Absolutely. Absolutely. But again, I want to know my source. If I'm going to eat peels, okay, if I have cancer, I'm not going to do peels because if there are pesticides, infection. If I am supporting ethical farming and getting my fruits and vegetables, I'm going to have the peel. I'm definitely going to have the peel. So again, there's always that to look at, quality and quantity. So I can get all of my colors, which are my polyphenols, my flavonoids, my anthocyanins, which the human brain, body, everything needs from my fruits, from my vegetables, from my nuts, and from my seeds. I don't have to go expensive on this. Simple watermelon seeds, which are cheap, can give me that. Flax seeds. And then we can go expensive with Brazil nuts and all. But I'm saying you take nuts and seeds. Can I get a portion of that? My good fats. Is it coming from one saturated source like a coconut oil or a pure ghee or an avocado oil? And my polyunsaturated, which I will find if I'm having 2 meals out of my home. You'll have enough of the polyunsaturated. And my monounsaturateds, which are my olive oils. Okay, fantastic for my brain, everything, immunity. So I want my fats. Now my proteins, if you're vegetarian, you're going to get it from your legumes, you're going to get it from your lentils, you're going to get it from your nuts and your seeds, and your dairy, which is ethical and hopefully ethical because you don't want all the estrogen and the hormones in it. If I'm non-vegetarian, I'm going to get it from my ethically sourced meats, my fish, my eggs. That's what I'm looking at this way. Now my fiber is going to come from my vegetables and my fruits. My protein from those sources. My carbohydrates, can I have it? Absolutely, yes. Comes from my whole grains. My ancient grains, like my amaranths, my jowar, my bajras. Wheat suits you, go ahead and do it. Like wheat doesn't suit me, it makes me more hungry. Okay, because of the gliadin and the opiate receptors. But for some people, it's great.
Is it true that soil quality, especially in India, is depleted so much that the wheat we consume today is
Absolutely.
okay?
All over
devoid?
the world.
All over the
Everything, not just
world.
wheat. Even spinach. If you say, oh, wow, I'm getting X amount of iron in the spinach, make it half.
And this is because of pollution.
Soil depletion. It's because of the overuse of land. Okay, use of fertilizers, growing crops which are only produce money. You don't have biodiversity amongst crops growing and stuff. All of that has, but it's changing. And soil can change if people change the way they farm. So that can change, and that will boost nutrients automatically in the foods that we eat.
Okay.
So these are the things. This is what I want. I want hydration. I want my water coming in. If sugar's coming in, again, it's got to be in small quantities. I can't have a sedentary lifestyle and have too much of sugar. I'm not burning it. If I want a cup of chai with a teaspoon of sugar, I'm an active person. I'm going to burn that teaspoon of sugar in 10 minutes. But if I'm a sedentary person, even that 1 teaspoon of sugar can cause problems. So when I look at food, I want to look at diversity, and especially the country that you live in.
Yeah.
What does India grow? Okay, so if it's growing mangoes in summer, it's a great fruit for you in the summer. But now people hold on to mangoes and freeze it, and they want to have it through the winters. The point is you can do it, but it was as nutritious as the time it was grown for you. So this is what a diet should look for all of us. Now, break it down to your bio-individuality, but most people are only going on macros: low protein, low carb, high carb. Talk about micro deficiencies. And that is where your colors and everything that we spoke about comes in. And all the foods I mentioned, now you can extract superfoods. So pure ghee, saturated fat, superfood. Coconut oil, pure is a saturated fat. It's a superfood. Okay, your moringas, your green leafy vegetables, superfood again. Your pistachios, nut family, superfood again. So a superfood is a superfood when it has micronutrients at a high level, and that can suffice different functions in the human body.
Mr. Luke Coutinho, we're at the end of this episode.
Thank you.
We have to move into a much heavier episode. That's why I'm not going to give an all-out conclusion on this one. All I'll say is health and diet and movement. These are subjects that you need to keep revisiting over the course of your life, because I'm sure you're one of the world's most renowned health professionals, and even you're a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
Even you revisit concepts that you studied, say in your 20s or in your early 30s.
Yeah, and we're constantly learning.
Yeah.
Because I may say pistachios are great, but then sometimes we learn that too much of it for this particular patient is not a good thing because it's got zeaxanthin and it doesn't go well with your drug. So we are always learning. Learning.
Yeah. But in saying that, physical health is governed by some mathematical flag posts as well. And people need to learn the math early on. And of course, the math is different for everyone's bodies.
Yeah.
But you've got to keep experimenting with the healthy foods and figure out what works for you.
Absolutely.
Maybe bio-individuality is the theme of this particular episode. We'll move into the next one. I hope it was good for you, Mr.
Absolutely. I always enjoy it. Yeah.
Awesome. See you. That was the episode for today. Some controversial topics that we touched upon. Some commonly asked questions in the world of fitness and health. Health is scientific and science evolves every 3 years, which is why Luke Coutinho has earned his reputation. He's not someone who just sits on the knowledge he's gained up till this point. He's someone who updates himself regularly, and that's the sign of the best health professionals out there. That's why right now, follow us on Spotify. The Spotify exclusive. Every episode's available on Spotify 48 hours before it's available anywhere else in the world. Until that episode releases, I would request you to go watch the other episodes we've created with the legend Luke Coutinho. Some of our best podcasts have been created with this person. He's also the first guest to have recorded with us at all our different studio locations. That's some trivia about TRS. I will see you soon with more knowledge and with an even better conversation with Luke Coutinho coming up very soon.